Shri Sagar Khandre.
Thank you, Chairperson, sir, for allowing me to talk on the carriage of goods by sea bills. Firstly, any bill or act that is brought out needs to define everything correctly so there is no confusion. Here, this bill does not define the word port, which will cause legal disputes tomorrow. So, along with that, there is no mechanism established to address dispute resolution, whether alternate means of dispute resolution is available or not. This bill needs to address how the government is going to deal with maritime disputes, sir. Along with that, there is also no penalties mentioned in the bill. This bill disadvantages shippers in a lot of ways, Chairperson, sir. I would like to elaborate on that. Article 3, Clause 9 says that a benefit of insurance or similar clause shall be deemed to be a clause relieving the carrier of any liability, which means that if any goods are damaged and if there is any such clause which is similar to a benefit of insurance, and even if the insurance company does not pay the shipper, the carrier is not held liable. In Article 4, Clause 2A, the carrier will not be responsible for loss or damage arising from act, neglect or default of the master, mariner, pilot or the servants of the carrier in the navigation or management of the ship. This means to say that where in a lot of other cases vicarious liability is applied, sir, where there is principal-agent relationship. However, in this case, even if the staff of the carrier end up damaging the goods, if there is any mismanagement on their part, the carrier is again does not have any liability, where the shipper is again disadvantaged, sir. Now, Article 6, sir, we all know how important bill of lading is when it comes to carriage of goods by sea. However, there are special conditions in Article 6 that say that bill of lading is not needed, and the provisos in this are also very vague, sir. Article 7 says that the parties, that is shipper and carrier, are free to make their own agreements, sir, without being subjected to the rules of this Act. However, the whole point of this Act is to ensure that there is a standard, uniform structure. Sir, give me, sir, I have 5 minutes, sir. I had 5 minutes. Sir,
Please conclude.
Sir, so Article 7, the whole point of the Act is to ensure that there is a standard structure for establishing responsibilities, liabilities, rights and immunities for carrier. However, this article goes against the very object and reasons mentioned in the Act, sir. Finally, sir, there is also no provision for transport. When there's transport of illegal goods, there's no mention of that itself in this Act, sir. This needs to be looked into, as there is a lot of drug menace in the country, sir. So I hope the Minister also mentions this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. माननीय सुधाकर सिंह
2 मिनट बता दीजिए
सर, आप 2 मिनट में खत्म कीजिएगा, प्लीज.
Definitely very much needed, ma'am. And also the second reason that this bill is needed is with regards to the only 6.4% of the transport mix across the country that is happening with the waterways, either inland waterways or outside in the ocean as well. So this is very less when compared to the world average. So this bill is very much necessary to increase this transport mix so that more goods can be transported, ma'am. And also the third reason that this bill is very much needed is with regards to there is a provision for a 100% FDI that can be brought into this sector, ma'am. Unlike aviation sector, unlike the national highway sector, where when the FDI was allowed, it was very much well taken up, and most of the projects are being funded, ma'am. But somehow, because of lot of bureaucracy that is involved in this sector, this 100% FDI, even though it is allowed, it is not being taken into the account, ma'am. So this bill is very much needed for encouraging this. Coming to the suggestion that I want to make, there's 3 suggestions, ma'am. The first one being, I think Dada has already mentioned about this, that 50% of the Indian domestic cargo has to be mandated so that they can be transported via Indian flagged vessels. Example, China does that, wherein the China flagged vessels will have mandatory condition that some percentage of the cargo has to be taken care of by the Chinese flagged vessels. So I hope the minister will take this into account. The second suggestion is with regards to there's a lot of Indian seafarers that are doing a lot of good work, not only in Indian vessels, but the vessels outside the country also. So mandate the minimum quota for these Indian seafarers so that they can get better jobs on Indian vessels. The third suggestion I want to make is with regards to there is a 49% of Indian coastal fleet, which is almost 20 years old or more than 20 years old. So the requirement that these people are asking is to provide low-cost capital and long-term financing so that because we are shipbuilding as a whole, as an industry, it needs to be developed. We don't have a Indian shipping vessel fleet that when compared to even the small countries like France and Italy, they have their own shipping liners, but somehow India doesn't have it. Even China has it as a big nation. So I think we need to look into direction. For that to happen, this low cost and long-term financing is the need of the hour. I hope the minister will take this into account. Coming to the Andhra Pradesh, when we have to talk about the shipping bill, we have to talk about Andhra Pradesh, ma'am, because we have one of the longest coastal line of 1,000 kilometers, and we have the 3 major ports and 12 non-major ports as well, ma'am. We have been coming on board with regards to by becoming a hub for the shipbuilding and maritime trade. And our Honorable Chief Minister Chandrababu Garu recently, I don't know if any other state have announced it, but in Andhra Pradesh there is a maritime policy that has been announced only 3 months back, because we understand the need of this industry, the need to develop this industry, so we have announced this policy. So because of this, there are 5 shipbuilding and ship repair clusters that the Union government has announced, and 1 is coming to Andhra Pradesh. I thank the Minister for sanctioning this. I thank the Prime Minister also for sanctioning this, ma'am. But on top of this, on top of allocating this shipbuilding and ship repair cluster, what I request is, there's a Buckingham Canal that's there from last 100 and 150 years, that goes via my district of Guntur all the way to Chennai, which will reduce the shipping cost and maritime cost. We have a lot of coastal line, lot of ports, ma'am, but at the same time, if there is a inland shipping process also with this Buckingham Canal, I think that will actually bring down the logistics costs I've mentioned earlier. So I request the Honourable Minister to look into this. And last 2 points, ma'am, that this sector needs to be developed. That's why we brought in Andhra Pradesh, brought in the maritime policy. But for this sector to develop, there are 2 things that needs to be kept in mind. One is robust security mechanism that has to be there, and there's a urgent need of safeguarding the port assets. Why I'm telling you, ma'am, there's robust security mechanism, because the one example I can give you is Visakhapatnam port. There's an incident that happened in the last year around February, March, ma'am, wherein there's a shipping container that have come from Brazil to Andhra Pradesh. They've imported seafood, ma'am, so that seafood for some industry related to the shrimp industry, ma'am. They imported the seafood. Somehow that Interpol has sent a message saying there is a cocaine that has been coming in. And because someone has alerted, the container that has come into the Vizag port, it has been stopped. Okay, they stopped it. I understand that. But there's a due process that needs to be followed. Maybe take 10 days, take 20 days, take 1 month. But the whole process extended by 9 months to clear that there's no cocaine that is being transported in that shipping container. If the process takes 9 months, ma'am, imagine if someone has to come and invest in the